gentlemen, thank you so much for joining Twist Gaming here today at Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio. I am Ann, and I am here with...
Jeff, the co-host. Yeah.
And Rob Dougherty.
Yeah.
Rob,
I like that enthusiasm. Yeah.
Rob, you're with White Wizard Games?
That's correct, yeah.
Awesome. So what games do you have here to show us?
So we have a little bit of stuff to spoil about some upcoming products. So we've got the Hero Realms game, which is a offshoot of Star Realms, and that has been really well received. And it's got the base game, which plays a lot like Star Realms, but with a fantasy twist and different pacing and different factions that do different things. And then we have the character packs for it, and that's gives you player versus player battles. But we're taking that to a whole different direction with the campaign set that's going to be coming out this fall. With the campaign set, you are going to be able to play cooperatively with your friends. Everybody's going to choose a character, and then you play cooperatively with your friends against the game. When you finish missions, you're going to gain rewards. Those might be treasures, which are permanently added to your starting deck, or experience, which you can spend to improve your character's skills or abilities, and your character will get more powerful over time, much like they would in a role-playing game. And we'll even have a character record sheet in the rulebook that you can photocopy and keep track of your character, or download from our website, the PDF. And so you'll be able to track the changes to your character over time and go on tougher and tougher missions. The first campaign set is coming out. We just sent it to the printer. It'll be coming out this fall, hopefully November. Good time for Christmas.
Awesome.
And that's going to contain 150 playing cards and 8 oversized boss cards. I have an example of what the boss cards are going to look like. So for comparison, I've got here's a regular size card, and this is what the boss cards look like, and they'll be
to Josh up on the camera.
Awesome.
Cool.
So the campaign will be automated. So basically, the boss will have their own deck, and that's created before you play the game. The cards have, like the Twisting Bolt card we just showed, had a little S on the bottom of it. That shows that it's part of the boss's setting deck. And there's mastery cards for the boss, which basically help him level up. And then finally, there are encounter decks. So there's 3 different counters in this first set. So there'll be encounter deck 1, encounter deck 2, encounter deck 3. You shuffle all those cards together, and that creates the master's deck. Each turn, before a player gets to go, you flip over the top card of the master's deck to see what's happening to that player at that time. So it might be an action like the Twisting Bolt card, which will affect the player. It might be a minion, which the player will have to fight. It'll go in front of the player, and they won't be able to attack the master or help anyone else until they deal with that minion in front of them. And that minion, of course, will be attacking them. Or it might be one of those mastery cards, which if the boss gets 3 of those in front of him, he will level up and flip to the opposite side of the card, where his powers are much nastier. So as the players build power, building their deck throughout the course of the game, the master also builds up in power and becomes a nastier opponent.
Now, for those of us who are new to Star Realms, broad overview, what are we doing with the game?
Okay, so Star Realms and Hero Realms are deck building games. So basically, each player gets a little deck of 10 cards, some of which provide money and some of which provide combat. The money is used to buy new cards for your deck. The cost to buy a card is in the upper corner of it, and so you spend your resources, you buy a card, it goes to your discard pile, you draw 5 new cards a turn, you get to play out every card in your hand. When you run out of cards to draw, at the end of each turn, you're going to be drawing a new 5-card hand. When you run out of cards to draw, you just shuffle your discard pile, including those cards you've been buying. That makes your new deck. So as you play throughout the game, your deck will get better and more powerful, and your combat you use to attack your opponent or their stuff. You start with a score of 50. If you can get your opponent's score down to 0, they're out of the game. In a 2-player game, you'd win. And then in Star Realms, players have ships that they play, and they do something on them, and then they go away at the end of the turn. And they have bases which stay in play and have a defense value, and your opponent can attack your bases or attack you. You do damage equal to their defense, they go to the discard pile. In Hero Realms, it's action cards and champions have defense values, and they stay in play.
Okay.
So the games are fast, simple, and fun. You can carry them, they're highly portable, you can carry them around with you, and very inexpensive.
I agree with all those things.
Yeah.
I own all of them. So.
Star Realms is just $15 for a complete 2-player game. Hero Realms is just $20 for a complete 4-player game. So those are fast, portable, and really, really fun games.
A long time ago, we had talked about this and my old thing, but your philosophy on designing these games was that portable and affordable. Right?
Yeah, and
fun.
high quality. Like basically,
and competitive.
So
like the possibility for competition.
So I like to design games that I like to play. And Star Realms was actually designed by Darwin Castle and myself, and that it started out kind of as a hobby project. Basically, Darwin was looking to add to his portfolio, and so we started working on a game, and I was sort of helping him with that process, and we started developing games together. And we have a real synergy on game development. We were playing on professional Magic the Gathering team together, and we got sort of a tempo of like working on decks and tweaking them and going back and forth. So we're very fast at that type of thing because we've been doing it for decades together. And so with Star Realms, we iterated the game so quickly, and so many changes to the to sort of the initial concept. It would be better and faster if we did this. It'd have a better balance if we changed that, and back and forth. And we just got the game so fine tuned and so fun to play that we were like, oh well, we actually have to make this. This got to go. And then as far as the packaging went, we're in the small package. Most deck builders are put in a big box and then priced at $40, and there's a lot of air in the box and maybe a board that you don't really need and such. Okay. It's all about the cards, and generally speaking, when I own a deck builder, I take out the cards, put it in a small box, carry it around with me.
It's just much more convenient to have it.
In a little box you can carry it around. So we
bigger
decided
boxes are built that way to sell the game.
Exactly.
Not really for the purpose of the game. Right?
And to justify a higher price.
And it works.
And it works. Yeah. And I've done it. But I did it with Ascension, had a big box, and and basically that was just sort of the industry standard. Also, you want a big box so people see it in the store.
Yeah.
And so it was quite a risk with Star Realms to put it in a little box because not much shelf space, and also we put more time into game design and development than most deck builders have. Our art budget was more expensive than most deck builders have, so we took a product that normally the industry would charge $40 for, put it in a little $15 box, and we spent more to make it than you do on the $40 game. So that was all very risky, but
it sounds like it.
But it shows though. Like most deck builders have terrible art.
Yes,
these are great.
Yeah. So basically, we're going for leading quality TCG level art in inexpensive, easy to carry around games was where we were going with Star Realms and Hero Realms and with every card game. So speaking of Star Realms, we have a Kickstarter coming up next month, July 11th, 7/11 at 11 a.m. We're going to kick off this Kickstarter, This Kickstarter is for a new box set. It's going to have an entirely new trade deck. It's going to have 4 players worth of starting decks, so it'll be a complete 4-player game on its own. Or you can combine it with your existing Star Realm set, so you'll be able to play up to 6 players with that. There's going to be a lot of cool Kickstarter exclusives on there. Okay. I also I have some card images if you want to take a look.
Absolutely.
Pulling up the pictures. And as always with the Star Realm stuff, we've got some really great artwork. I don't know if the camera can see this from here. I don't know.
Yeah, they can see that.
Okay, so basically, you can see with this card, we've got the new a new double ally mechanic. So one of the features of Star Realms is if you can match the colors of the cards get more powerful with an ally ability. But having more than one of the card has never mattered previously. Now we have these double ally abilities where if you have 2 or more of that faction, then you can trigger that ability as well. So we have cards where they ramp in power. If you have a lot of that faction, they can become quite powerful. Here is a example of a base. And
So
again,
cool
yeah,
The art is absolutely gorgeous.
yeah, the games are so pretty. We've got such a great team of artists working on the game. And then here's another example of a ship. So
It's a game
this
ship.
is Star Realms Frontier. So it's in the set in the far reaches. So there's a lot of gate ship technology.
I may
And
or
then-
may not have just recently binge watched Stargate SG-1.
Yes. It may or may not have drawn any inspiration. So new Star Realms set coming to Kickstarter next month. This is the first time Star Realms will have been on Kickstarter since the original game, and the Star Realms fans have really come through for us, backing various Kickstarter products, allowing us to make really beautiful games and spending a lot of money on art and game design and development, which we'd never be able to do without Kickstarter. So we really wanted to do something for those Star Realms fans who have been so loyal to us for so long. So we've got a lot of really special stuff on this Kickstarter. Check it out next month. Next, for Epic Card Game, we have a new 60 card set called Pantheon coming out for Epic this fall, got some cool new mechanics and always some really beautiful artwork.
Epic's my jam. So
Yeah, Epic. Epic's a big favorite of for a lot of our sort of hardcore gamers around the office. So we absolutely love it. The Epic digital app, by the way, is in alpha. It's been our Kickstarter backers have been playing it. We've got thousands of Kickstarter backers playing that, and we've just opened up the alpha. So if you want to join the alpha, if you go to whitewizardgames.com and you click on the shop, the store link, that'll bring you to our Shopify store, and there is you can purchase the Epic Alpha for $20. You'll get Alpha access and of course the full game when it comes out, and you'll also get $20 worth of event tickets when the event tickets are brought into the app. Now with Epic, just like with Star Realms, if you buy the game, you get all the cards. There's nothing to collect. However, we're going to have organized play, including World Championship qualifiers through the app itself,
Super
and that's where
exciting.
those event tickets come in.
That's
so
gonna be awesome.
yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Can't
And
wait.
for people who aren't into competitive events, we will have cool casual stuff that you can get, cosmetics and campaign features that you can spend those event tickets on if competitive tournaments aren't your jam.
Amazing. Awesome.
And so got a couple
That's awesome.
pretty pictures.
The detail on that is crazy.
This is actually a self-portrait of our lead artist. He made himself an elf for this one. So
I didn't even at first pick up that the panther was there. I mean,
Yeah,
your
it was
eye is
awesome.
immediately drawn with the bright green
Yeah.
to the
I
center.
went to this,
Yeah.
the blade because it's
Did you?
Yeah.
that's just really good. Wow.
yeah. So that's what's going on for our big 3 existing products, and now we've got a project. We actually have a European team for White Wizard Games, which is led by a friend of mine, Peter Schultz. He's a great game designer who I met at Essen, a few years back I met him at Essen, and he was showing me this game he worked on. And one of the things about publishing, if you've successfully published a game, a lot of game designers will come up to you and say, "Hey, I've got an idea, and check this thing out." And it's really hard to look at those things when you're at a convention because you're so busy. So I was about to tell this nice guy who was talking to me, "Oh gosh, I just don't have time to look at this." But then he started laying some things on the table, some prototype cards and such. And the artwork and the graphic design were so incredibly stunning. I was like, I have to talk to this guy just to see how he got this artwork. And I asked him who did the artwork, and he said, he did a lot of it himself.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, all right, I got to talk to this guy just for the art. So I figured I'd check out his game. which most games you're shown aren't necessarily something you'd wanna make,
Or
but
polished or
but
all
or
very
polished
rough.
or whatnot. But wow, this artwork, I gotta like at the very least I gotta talk to this guy about his art because it's so good. And then I played his game and I was like, wow, this game is also awesome. So basically I started just talking to him and sort of helping him with general ideas, and then talk to him about, hey, do you want to come into the White Wizard Games team and work on this together, and he was very excited about that. He joined the team. He's been in charge of organizing artists and playtesters, etc. in Europe, and they've been he's been hard at work for a long time on this game, and that is going to be coming to Kickstarter this fall, and I have some sample cards I can show to give you guys an idea of how pretty the stuff is.
What is the concept for the game?
So the concept for Sorcerer, it's if all the players in Sorcerer are playing evil characters. So the dark sorcerers descended from evil gods, battling for control of Victorian London.
Okay.
So you'll be summoning evil monsters, casting dark magics, and battling in the streets of Victorian London. Have some prototype cards here. So the setup for the game is really neat. So you've got these little decks. So there's
This is the artwork that he did.
this is artwork he and his team did. So since I first talked to him, we've added a lot of cards, and the game has gone along. So there's many artists who are working on the team, but Peter has done a lot of the work on it himself. So you lay out these 12 little piles of cards, and each of them is its own mini deck. And there are 3 categories for them. So you have these piles, which represent your character and the character's name. These are called the Awakening decks.
Can I grab one just to bring in a close-up?
Oh,
for the
sure.
camera?
Yeah, sure. So you could, grab that one and bring it up.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's really cool. Good too. It's really pretty.
Then there is then you've got your lineage decks, which represent which ancient evil god you're descended from, and therefore which magical powers you have. And then finally you have these domain decks at the bottom, which is your home base, your area of control. So when you're playing Sorcerer at the beginning of the game, you choose one deck from the first pile, one deck from the second pile, and one deck from the first pile. So for example, if you chose Tegu, you'd be Tegu, and let's say you chose the Demonologist.
Okay.
And you chose the Haunted Forest as your domain, you'd be Tegu, the Demonologist of the Haunted Forest.
For some reason, the way that you'd originally laid them out, I automatically assumed, oh, you pick this, then you pick this, then you pick this.
And
so you're getting to do any combination of...
Yeah, this pile, one from this pile, one from this pile, one from that pile, and any mix that you want. And these cover cards come off, and they go in front of you, and they represent special abilities that you have during the course of the game. And also, if you say the character's name, if someone knows the game, they'll know the contents of your deck, because these 3 piles then get shuffled up, and that makes your deck for the game. And then you're playing kind of a card game and kind of a board game at that point. You have energy, the cards have a cost in the top, you spend energy to play the cards have an offense and a defense, so stuff that'll be very familiar to like trading card game players. However, the game has boards, so at the beginning of the game, each player has their own personal board, and these will be made out of a high quality board stock. This tracks your energy and the actions that you have each turn. And then there are also battlefield boards that. And there's also these 3 battlefield boards that represent the locations where you can you'll be battling over for control of London. And these 3 battlefields get set up between the players, and when you play a minion on the table, it's not just arbitrarily on the table somewhere. It's in one of these 3 battlefields, and it will be fighting in that location. Now you can move it around. You can spend one of your actions to move a guy back and forth. So each turn you're going to have 6 actions. You can use an action. You players go back and forth spending actions. Actions can be used to draw cards. They can be used to gain energy in order to play those cards. You can use an action to play a card on the table by spending its energy, or you can use an action to move guys around on the battlefield. When players finish all their actions, they go back and forth battling the battlefield. You start in one battlefield. Player has initiative, goes first there, attacking with one of their characters, and then the other player attacks with one, back and forth until you've used all your guys. And when you attack, you roll dice. You roll dice equal to the offense value of your character. In the game will have custom dice where you've got hits, double hits, misses, and critical hits. The defending player assigns damage where they want, except for critical hits, the attacking player assigns a critical hit. If you can get 12 damage on your opponent's side of the battlefield, you flip the battlefield over to the back, and it has a ruined landscape of that portion of the city, and you put a control marker on your side of that. If you can get control markers on your side of 2 out of the 3 battlefields, you win the game.
Can you lose control of an area?
Once you've taken it, it's yours.
Okay.
And no more battles occur there. The minions are still there, and you can spend your actions to move them out to other battlefields where they
leave.
No,
you've got to spend your
you've got to move them out. So it's got sort of a tactical board game feel in that you're rolling dice. You have guys in various locations. You've got to decide, where do I need more forces, or where can I make a hard push and maybe win a battlefield quickly. But it also has kind of a trading card game feel where you've got these decks that have certain synergies and work really well together.
Immediate feeling of like a smash up.
Yes, yeah.
Which is super surface level. This is very deep, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, things shuffling together, fighting over battlefields.
Exactly.
That's the base level, and then this is the game.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna, with this game, we're actually gonna be going kind of the opposite direction that we did with Star Realms and Hero Realms as far as the materials go. I like to put games in the way I want them to be when I play them, and this game has such beautiful artwork and great graphic design and this very visceral feel with all these components. We're going to be having very nice components, really nice dice, really high quality cards, and it'll be a big box set game with high quality components. So this is this will be a large box set game, and this will be coming to Kickstarter this fall.
Awesome, man! Can't wait.
Excellent. It's really pretty. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous.
And creepy.
It's creepy. I mean, you're a bunch of demon gods, demon demigods fighting over for control of, some London, which is foggy and creepy in the middle of the night to start off with.
That's super creepy. No, I don't want to look at that. Put that away.
The mechanic where you're doing a battle on each one of the different locations is incredibly interesting to me.
It's a lot of fun, and it makes there's really interesting things going on, because you have effects like maybe you'll be able to do something that would wipe out everything in a particular battlefield, so you've got to be careful about, do I put too many eggs in one basket there, and then but if your opponent's making an overwhelming attack, you gotta make sure that you can defend the battlefield. Or so sometimes you'll give up on a battlefield, like, all right, I'm gonna lose that one, I don't care, I'm gonna win these other two. I'll put the resources into that. So it has this great sort of tactical board game feel, at the same time as having some really cool card game feel, and the deck creation is so neat. You just you put the pieces together, and there's a lot of synergies in these various decks where different ones work together in different ways, and you get a really cool game experience, but a very fast setup. Like, you don't have to think about, what am I putting in my deck? Nope, you just boom, 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 and you're ready to go.
The other games I can think of that have like that head-to-head battlefield type fight over a thing like this, they're typically deck builders, and the strategy is far less important. Because your deck building is really going to determine if you're going to win that game, and what you're doing on the board is almost irrelevant, right? In this game, because you're the choice of what your deck is. It's already pre-built for you, right?
Yes.
So the strategy seems way more important.
And the strategy
makes those decisions more important.
And the strategy
makes the game better.
And each of these characters with a combination name with they play in different ways. So basically, you have to try different strategies, and there's just a ton of replayability in it. So
the easy setup is really great because I know that sometimes deck builders and collectible card games can tend to be overwhelming to even to think to pick up.
Yeah.
And knowing that you could put this out, I mean, I'm sure that some of the combinations can start to get strategy heavy. I'm just assuming, but even if that is the case, whether it is or not, the fact that I can bust out this game and say, okay, pick one from each pile and let's play.
Yeah, or even randomize. You can flip the things over, shuffle them up, and basically here's what you get.
Here and go.
That's awesome.
Very
Can't wait, man.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. One's been a very long time in the making. So and Peter cannot wait for people to get their hands on it. He's super excited. So
awesome. Cool.
All right, thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Where can people find White Wizard on social media?
I am so bad at the social media. So whitewizardgames.com we have Twitter, we have Facebook, and I have no idea how to find them. So my marketing people are gonna be so happy with me.
Website?
Whitewizardgames.com.
I got that for you. And I'm sure that if you go to whitewizardgames.com, you will have the social media links somewhere on that website.
Yes.
Does the website have a local game retail
We
finder?
are actually adding a retail store finder. I believe there is a sign up right now for where retailers can go and add themselves to the list. And if you have any issues, you can always email support@whitewizardgames.com.
There we go.
Oh,
They could even tell you what our Twitter is.
Are you ever going to do like another real big tournament like you do with Epic?
So Epic has another World Championship coming up this year, and there are going to be qualifiers for it. $100,000 World Championship qualifiers within the app, and basically we have in Star Realms and Hero Realms we have Legend Series events where you can. If you win the event, you become a card in the game, which is awesome. So basically, for each game, we're trying to do organized play stuff that makes sense for that game and that game's community. So Epic plays like a trading card game, and trading card games have this sort of top players designing decks, which other players then get to use, and it sort of creates a sort of cool content for it. So we have that style of organized play for Epic. Star Realms and Hero Realms, more casual, fun games. So we have these really cool prestige events where you can play, you can win, and you can be part of the game. You can become a character in the game. And so for each game, we're gonna look at what makes the most sense for the organized play in it.
Awesome.
Very
Sounds
cool.
great.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome.